I'm Dominique Johnson of eBlackCU program. I'm an eBlackCU intern. This summer we're working on learning more about the mural. I'm interviewing Daniel Mitchell at Salem Baptist Church. The date is,
July 1st?
the time is,
9:05.
9:15.
we're just going to start with some background questions. What is your name for people?
My name is Daniel Mitchell.
When were you born and where?
I was born October 12th of 1959 in the city of Chicago, Illinois.
When did you come to Champaign and why?
I came to Champaign in 1974, just getting ready to enter high school. I ended up here because of my stepfather, who was living in Chicago at the time, was from here. He ended up getting ill, and he ended up back in Champaign to recuperate. And so therefore, by us being still in Chicago, we had to make a decision to come down here to be with him or to stay in Chicago until he recuperated. So we made the decision to come back, well, to come to Champaign, because actually I'd never heard of the town until he had moved back here. So that's basically how I ended up in Champaign-Urbana.
What was your racial or ethnic heritage?
African American, with a hint of Indian, I'm told.
Okay. Who are your parents?
My mother is Justine Pearson. My father, who was deceased, his name was James Mitchell.
After coming to Champaign, where did you live?
Repeat that.
After coming to Champaign, where did you live?
Lived on a street called Eid Street, which had a little bit of history behind it, because at the time there was probably the largest African American business, which was Shelton Laundry at that time, sat right behind, the original Shelton Laundry sat right behind the house in which we moved into. At this point it's tore down, but they had rebuilt another site in which that business is, to this day, is closed. So.
What was it like growing up or living in Champaign-Urbana?
To be honest with you, I thought it was a godsend. Being one who was raised in the slums of Chicago and going through the day-to-day hustle of avoiding gangs and bullying and the whole spectrum of peer pressure. Coming down here to a different environment to where people would actually look at you eye to eye when you were walking down the street and would speak at you and even blow as they would drive past your house was kind of uncommon to me, and actually could put you in a little bit of concern, I would say. Great concern, because that was something that you weren't used to in the city. So, but it was something I got used to very, very quickly.
What church did you and or your family attend in the community?
Jericho Missionary Baptist Church is the church that I started attending, although I did visit some other churches, but that's the church that I established my membership at here in Urbana, and I've been there probably 17 years or more now, off and on.
The 70s was a time of change. What was happening in Champaign?
In the 70s, as I stated, I got here in 1974, right at the end of the period where they had problems with gang violence here, which I was no stranger to being in an environment or around an environment such as that. The economy was very strong at that time, even for youngsters. as I was, probably a 14-year-old could go into an interview and then get hired on the same day, which that's a little bit different from it, you know, the times today. And so population was much less people than what it is now. It's probably a third more people in this town than what it was when I came here.
What was happening the summer of 1978, the year the mural was painted?
What was happening with me?
Just in general.
In general. In general. Well, I'll say this, in 1978, the summer, which was the summer when we were working on that mural, it was great music then. You know, I call it real music. Music you can understand and relate to. Had a message. It was clean. It was wholesome, and it still exists today. You know, unlike a lot of the other musics of the later decades, it faded away, and so that was something that stuck out vivid in my mind. And then also I was getting ready to enter my sophomore year in college. When we did the mural project, I came back here. I went off to school in Ohio, at Central State University. And that summer I came back here looking for employment, and that's how I ended up being contacted about the mural project.
What do you remember most about the mural?
What I remember most about the mural, I'm assuming you're talking about the mural itself and not the mural project, which means the whole program, the daily basis of dealing with the mural. The mural itself, what I remember about it, is that it symbolized a lot of rich history. For the African American. As a matter of fact, some people call it the history wall. It had you know, some different scenes in there that people can relate to. Mainly the older people could relate to it, and it was a magnet, which means that people drew to it from the community. They would always come by and then share their stories of what it reminded them of. That's what sticks out mostly in my mind.
Did you like or dislike it, and why?
I'm going to take it a step further. I loved it. And I loved it because, as I said, it was a magnet. People appreciated it. People understood the reason why we were doing it. And it was just a time that brought the community together. It attracted a lot of attention. People were so giving in their efforts. People who were not even affiliated with the mural, you know, and bringing sandwiches and Kool-Aid over, so everybody pitched in. And that was what was most memorable about that as well. So.
What community projects were you involved in besides the mural?
What community projects? Well, there was only one other project that come to my mind. I've always been very athletic, and I was doing some volunteer coaching with a group of youngsters in the community at that time. Some one-on-one basketball mentoring, and then coaching at that time. I'm pretty sure it was in the Park District.